Hey guys, how's it going? Dex here for another lesson for Jellynote.com. And in today's lesson, we're going to be looking at a new groove. So, a few lessons ago, we would have had a look at one groove which went like this, which was bass drum and hi-hat together, followed by snare drum and hi-hat together. And it was just those two repeated. So we had beat 1, followed by beat 2. And a bit faster, it sounded like this. So that was one groove that we learned a while back. Now, this new groove, we're going to start adding in some extra hi-hats to make it sound a little bit more interesting. Because the other one had 2 beats, this one's got 4 beats. So you can see there's a lot more going to be happening. So, let me get started. First things first, we're going to have 4 ticks on the hi-hat with our right hand. So our right hand is going to come over our left hand and hit the hi-hat 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we're simply going to put a bass drum, which is this drum down on the floor. We play it with the pedal. We're going to put that drum just there at the same time as beat number 1. So I'll go over that again. 4 hi-hats. Bass drum is going to be at the same time as the hi-hat. So here we go. Beat 1. Bass drum and the hi-hat at exactly the same time. And then you've just got 3 more hi-hats. Beat 2, beat 3, and beat 4. So again, beat 1, bass drum and hi-hat together. Beat 2, beat 3, and beat 4. Now, if you're looking at the sheet music, you're probably noticing there's another little dot on there, which is a snare drum. And that's the next step. We're going to put the snare drum on beat 3. But to start with, leave the snare drum out. Just try the right foot with the right hand. So beat 1, both together, 2, 3, 4. Now let's try and put that snare drum in there. So you can see that snare drum, it's with the 3rd hi-hat. So let's go through the entire groove, and we're just going to try and put that left hand in on the 3rd beat now. So bass drum and hi-hat together. Hi-hat on beat 2. On beat 3, it's now the hi-hat and the snare drum together. Just remember, you've got to cross your hands over, right hand over the left hand, and hit them at exactly the same time. And that's beat 3. And then for beat 4, you can see it's just that little X on its own. That's just a hi-hat. And that's the entire groove. And if I play it all together slowly, it will sound like this. Beat 1, beat 2, beat 3, beat 4, and just like reading words on a page, you take it one word at a time until you can say the entire thing a little bit faster. So that's when you're first learning to read, that is. So I've got 2 young kids, and one of them's trying to learn to read, and it's quite hilarious, but it's good fun. Anyway, right, back to it. So, again, 1, 2, 3, 4. Good. So you can see the hi-hat should be going the entire time. One thing to watch out for is that the hi-hat does play every single beat. I've had a couple of students do this every so often, where they'll play, for example, the bass drum on its own, and then the rest of it. You can see it still sounds the same. The groove sounds the same. But because they're focusing on their foot, they forget to hit the hi-hat at the same time. They lift their hand in the air like this. So careful not to do that. Make sure you're hitting the hi-hat every single time. The right hand should never stop playing. And another thing to watch out for is when you're playing beat 3 with the snare drum, so that's the hi-hat and the snare drum together, be careful that you don't play the bass drum at the same time, because sometimes you can be focusing on your hands and you forget that the bass drum will actually kind of go on its own if you're not careful. So on beat 3, just the hands, not with the bass drum like I just did there. You can see it sounds very similar. Just the hands, and if I put the bass drum in as well, you can see it's almost disguised. It's almost you can't hear the bass drum there. But just be very careful that that's not in there, because it does kind of muddy the sound of the groove. So be very careful that you're playing each note absolutely precisely. You're aiming for accuracy now, not speed. You're not trying to get this fast yet. You're just trying to get all the beats in the right place. And then you can try and play it a little bit quicker, which will sound like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's the groove just there. So I hope you guys have had some fun with that. Please check out the rest of the stuff that there is on Jellynote.com. There's loads of sheet music and things. There's other tutorials that you guys can go and check out. I really recommend you go on there and have a look at that. So until then, I will see you guys for another lesson sometime soon.